Today, I want to talk about our annual personal finance review, or what I like to call Money Day. The first thing on the agenda for Money Day is recalculating our net worth. I personally do this every year, and I use just a simple Excel spreadsheet. Actually, if you go to my website, I'll put a link in the description. You can download what I use. And so what I do is I take everything that we owe, everything we own, and put it all into one spreadsheet. And then that calculation is what tells us what our net worth is. Now, the net worth is not itself like the most important thing per se. So think of this as just an azimuth check, looking at the compass and making sure that you are headed the direction that you want to go, which is, for us, we want our wealth to increase every year. And it has done so every year except for 1 year. That was a down year for the markets, and we had some major expenses, and my wife wasn't working. So things happen. So if that is you and you kind of are losing traction, don't worry, it's okay. The very next year after that was actually our best year yet. So now when we were first getting out of debt and stuff like that, that was really motivating because it was like, hey, we're no longer negative anymore. And then, oh man, that we're actually building some wealth. So it can be really, really helpful to do that and keep yourself on track. The next thing on the Money Day agenda is any big expenses or big influxes of money that we know we're going to have during the year. Now, for us, we typically don't get a big tax return or anything anymore. We've adjusted everything to where we're not going to have like a big tax return to spend or anything like that. But like this year, we've got like that 1776 4-year dividend. We just put it into a savings account. We haven't talked about what we're going to use it for, but that's just something that we'll set aside, and then we talk about that for Money Day. The other thing is looking at other major purchases, other major expenses. So for this year, one of the things that we want to try and fund is buying me a new truck. I've been living without a truck for a long time, mainly because I didn't really use a truck like a truck, and mine that I had it wasn't in good shape. I needed something reliable. So I ended up doing the adulting thing and getting a boring sedan that, was good on gas and had lower miles, and it's been a good car, but it really doesn't fit our needs anymore. So we are looking at possibly replacing that and getting me a truck and kind of consolidating vehicles and trailers and things like that. One of the items that we update every year as well is our yearly expenses fund. Now, this is actually a savings account that we put money into on a regular basis, but we use that for like lumpy expenses throughout the year. So things like our Amazon Prime membership, or my wife's contacts, or just any like lumpy expenses like that, or like new clothing. Like I don't always need a new pair of jeans, but whenever I do, like, okay, those things aren't cheap. So it's like, okay, where does that come from? Or a new pair of running shoes, like those kind of things. Like a lot of our clothing items we pull from the annual expenses fund. And similarly, we have other accounts for other goals and savings, such as our giving fund. So we have a set amount of money that we put into our giving fund each year. And during Money Day, we talk about, hey, is that where we want it to be? Do we need to bump that up to kind of reach what we want to have as far as our giving goals? And so there's a lot of different things like that we reset at this time as well. One of the things that's pretty cool is now that we have a few of these under our belt, I can actually look at some prior Money Day goals and see like, okay, not only did we set that goal, we put the money aside, and now we're totally the other side of that. And so like a great example of this is our transition fund. Like we decided a year or maybe 2 years ago, hey, we need to start putting a little bit of money away for a transition fund. And so that's what we did. And we built up that money, and now we have pretty much used all of the transition fund. It didn't exactly happen the way we wanted it to. We ended up using that for some other expenses over the summer, just because we needed to move some things around to get the family where they needed to be so that we could be to the other side of retirement in the location we want and make sure everybody's set up and ready to go. So it didn't exactly happen the way we wanted it to, but the fact that we had this as a goal and we were thinking about it, and then we started putting money toward that, it made it so much easier to implement later on. And so that is the power of making sure that you're having these conversations and putting some of these things into an actual document, writing it down, and then taking action toward it. The next thing that we do is we go through and we reset our budget. And this is something, even though like we have almost everything automated, those things change more often than we realize. And it's like every year, it's like, okay, well, this went up and this went up and this went up and this went up, or, oh, well, we don't do that anymore. Or, hey, like, do we really need this? And so like, there's some items on there that we are going to look at and go, oh, wow, okay, that's more than what we thought. Or, maybe we need to look at something different here. And so we will go through and reset the entire budget, make sure that the money coming in versus the money going out still makes sense, and make sure that if we need to adjust any goals, like say, for instance, I talked about, hey, I want to save up for a truck. Well, are we still saving enough in the vehicle fund to make that happen in the time frame that we want? So we may need to adjust that up or down depending on what we see in the budget, because we can want to adjust it up, but if the budget doesn't allow for it, then okay, well, we have to make that adjustment, change my automatic savings withdrawals, and make sure that that's all good to go. Hey, real quick, if you want more For Enlisted, by Enlisted personal finance content delivered directly to you, make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss whenever I post a new video. Now, back to it. The next thing that I do is I go through and check all of our service providers, and I will go and get quotes for any of those things and see if I can get a better rate. So this is like, say for instance, I check our insurance every year, see if we can get better vehicle insurance rates, check phone carriers, check, there's all these different things that we will check and see if we can get a little bit better rate. Most of the time, like at this point in time, we are pretty much at the lowest level that we're going to get. But there's some things that we made changes from here, and just being able to go back and think about it has saved us a lot of money over time. Like say, for instance, when we switched from having a contract plan for our phones to doing pay-as-you-go, that actually created a situation to where our monthly bill was lower, but we have every 2 or 3 years, we have a large bill whenever we replace our phones. But on the long term, we're actually saving money and spending less overall on our phones and our phone plan. Now, this is something that we are going to look at again this year, especially because I'm not in the Army anymore and I don't need anybody to be able to reach me 24/7 anymore. So I'm really not as worried about having cell phone coverage all the time. And actually, I'm going to work on practicing not carrying my cell phone to every single part of the house every single second of the day. And so just going through and looking at your carriers and seeing where you might be able to save money can really, once again, add up over time. The next thing is discussing all of our financial life and making sure that we're all on the same page. Now, this is something that happens throughout the year and happens, I say it kind of happens toward the end of Money Day, but really it's kind of mixed in throughout. So we kind of have some transactional stuff that I prepare ahead of time, and then basically I'm presenting to my wife, not really like presenting like a PowerPoint or anything like that. Like she doesn't want a formal thing like that. If she did, oh, like, yeah, you betcha I have a PowerPoint presentation, have a video, like all that. But anyway, I don't do that. But regardless, we kind of have like a discussion of like, okay, like no ifs, ands, or buts. This is what we are doing for the year. This is where we want to deploy our money this year. And these are some of the things that maybe aren't going to get funded, or some expectation management, I guess, if you want to call it that. And so that is a big part of Money Day, and something that I feel really strongly about, making sure that my wife and I are on the same page and make sure that everybody understands the game plan. So we're not thinking different things, not taking action toward different things. And just make sure like we can kind of come together and be in harmony, I guess you would say. The final part of Money Day is making a task list for my wife and for me. That can be any number of things, but like say for instance this year, part of my task list, every year is rebalancing accounts. If there are any automatic transfers that need to be adjusted, I do that. Actually, there's some that my wife does too. If there's any new accounts that we want to create, if there's any accounts that we need to close, just any number of things like that, we kind of like split that up and go, okay, I'll take care of this, you take care of that. And then we make sure like, okay, cool. We know when everything needs to happen. We know what we need to do, and we have clarity on what needs to happen moving forward. And this is kind of like the final piece of like the overarching like system we've built for ourselves, is to make sure that everything runs pretty much in the background. Because I know like if I am relying on just like my like rote discipline, like all on my own, it's probably not going to happen. And I know that sounds bad from a guy that's supposed to be like all about personal finance and all that, but I'm much more of a broader like strategic thinker, and like looking at the calculations and all that. Like I love that kind of part of it, of like solving problems. But then like in the everyday moment, like I'm not good about, like I'm a natural spender. So like I'm just prone to like, okay, yep, let me buy it, I'll figure it out later. And you know, like I have that confidence, like I'll figure it out later, but you know, that has caused some problems in the past. So long story short, I make sure that everything is implemented in a way that works in concert with who I am as a person, who my wife is as a person, and then kind of reconcile the two of those to make sure that our system works for both of us, not just one or the other. And, you know, it's really kind of difficult because she's a saver and I'm a spender. And so sometimes some of the systems that we create are maybe not compatible, like the things that make me feel good, of just not having to worry about seeing it and just, you know, be able to swipe the card and just move on. That is stressful for her. Like, so for me, like if I see a zero balance, okay, cool. I don't have to, like, I can't spend any money out of that account. Like, we're done. Whereas if my wife sees a zero balance, like that's going to stress her out. And so like we've implemented some things over time to where, okay, like we have a buffer in the checking account of $1,000. So if there's $1,000, like, okay, I know, like, okay, we have no money, but she knows, like, okay, we're not running out of money, but hey, well, I need to go talk to Brandon about not spending money anymore. So, yeah, so that's just kind of how it works for us. It's going to work different for you if you're single, and it's going to work different for you and your partner if you have a significant other or if you're married. To wrap things up, I just want to remind you, everything that I've talked about, I have as a resource that you can download. It's in the description below. I will pin that comment so that you have access to all the tools that I have. So my Get Started checklist, as well as my MOFS-P, which is really just all the spreadsheets I use shoved into one. And if you have a question, or if there's something that is unclear, just pop a comment down there. I really do my best to read and reply to every single one. I don't know how long I can do that for, but you guys have amazing comments and questions, and I love that. And so I hope you keep that coming, and hopefully this is very, very helpful to you. And with that, maybe check out a couple of my other videos that may have popped up on the screen here, and have a fantastic year. I hope that this year is your best year yet.